So as God was showing me upon this day, he's telling me about how to be covered by him. And looking at and seeing what God was doing and what God was saying, I looked at Hebrews, the 13th chapter. I looked at, as 91st Psalm said, he's covered us with his wings. I looked at being covered and how different people speak about being covered. A covering. How, it says that the prodigal son, the father gave him a coat of colors to cover him. That covering was to consume all the bad, the sins, the things that were not like God, to cover them and to consume them, so that the only thing that would exist is God, is love. And that is what we have to look at. We have to do an etymology on the words and know what this means. We have to know that when something is covered, when you cover someone, when someone is covered in the military or covered from danger, a mother covers her child from a storm, they're covered so that no hurt, harm, danger, suffering come to them. They use their body as a shield to cover them. And so this is what love is doing. Love covers us. And it's a shield to protect us. It's a love to cover us. It's there to consume the bad, and consume the hate, consume the sin, and nothing there but love. Because love absorbs all things. We have to do this with love. Even in love, we must hold accountable. Holding accountable means that we know that you're wrong and we see that you're wrong, but instead of us judging you, we loving you with correction. And that loving correction is like a child. When one of our children do wrong, we don't abandon the child. It's still our child, but we correct them in love. Some people want to call it tough love, but it's still love. Some people want to call it agape love, God's love. It's still love. Some people talk about brotherly love, but it's still love. Let's talk about the 4 different kinds of love. First of all, we'll talk about the familia. Familia is family love. Love that you have for family, for those that are kin to you, those are of your bloodline, those who are like family. But there is a familiar love that is a little bit more than brotherly love, because everybody that's family ain't blood, and everybody that's blood ain't family. Familia. Then there's brotherly love. Oh, that brotherly love. That love that you have to where you got some people that are in your corner and you're in their corner no matter what. That's that brotherly love, that Philadelphia. That love that exists among you and comrades, you and colleagues, to where there's a love that exists to where there's things that are understood that don't even need explaining. That love that you can look at each other and see each other and don't even have to talk about it. There's just a connection there in that Philadelphia, that brotherly love. But then there's that intimia. And that intimia love is love that is, mostly people describe it as an intimate love with a husband and wife, that there's an intimate love. A love that Christ had for us, willing to die for. A love that advocates have for their community, willing to die for. A love that people share one for another, even in the military, willing to die for. That intimate love is the love that we got to get to in order to receive that last stage of love, which is that agape love. And that agape love is God's love. But there needs to be an intimia. There needs to be a intimate love between you and God, to where you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is who you live for. God is who you're willing to die for. God is the one that will take care of everything, no matter when they lie on you, no matter when they ridicule you, no matter when they revile you, no matter when they say all manner of evil. God will take care of it. That is that intimia. That intimia goes beyond your understanding, beyond your emotions, beyond your thought process, beyond your philosophies and theories. That intimia makes you stop in mid-action and say, but God is going to take care. It's not my battle, it's the Lord's. Oh, that's that intimia. Intimia causes you to not even be able to fathom the faith that you have in God, the belief that you have in God. There's something about that intimia that kicks in faith and makes that faith step out. And when it looks like there's no way, and it looks like you're down for the count, it looks like everything is done failed and been destroyed, and you just fall back on that intimia and say, but God, faith kicks in with that intimia. And then that agape love. Oh, come on now. That agape love, that God love. It comes in and covers up all you did wrong, all you did right, all that was against you, all that was with you, all that could have consumed you, could have destroyed you, all that could have helped you and could have exalted you. That agape love controls all. Love is the most powerful source in the universe. And what God has really placed on my heart, I went to Washington this last time on my way back, right before this banquet that happened. God placed on me that you got to do everything now in love. I waited for my confirmation. Our confirmation came when I talked to Jimmy Woff, and he said, Glasgow, we got to do it with love. But then I waited on my second confirmation. I went through a whole bunch of turmoil, a whole bunch of stuff was going on, people saying a whole bunch of stuff, and Commissioner Kevin Dawson called me and said, but Glasgow, you're the preacher. They know the advocate. Let them see the preacher. You got to preach love. That was my confirmation. My second confirmation, my third encounter. And God telling me we got to do this by love. So by love, with all love and kindness have he drawn thee. By love, we must hold each other accountable. We must look at each other in a loving manner and come to reality of what we must do as a people to stop all of the things that's causing us to be divided and come to a unified effort of loving each other so much that righteousness comes to the forefront. Corruption, deceit, division, separated no longer can exist, because love starts to be that mortar that holds us together even when the devil is trying to tear us apart. Love starts to be that mortar that cements every block and every brick when someone is trying to tear the building that we're building down. So I declare myself today as Nehemiah. I cannot come off that wall. We're going to build this wall in Dothan, Alabama. We're going to build it and we're going to unify. We're going to build this wall and we're going to all have better race relations than anywhere else. We're going to build this wall and we're going to have cohesion amongst the community and the law enforcement. We're going to build this wall and we will have people that will not coexist together, being together as one on one accord. We're going to continue to build this wall no matter who attacks it, no matter who comes, no matter who's in the spirit of symbolic or Tobias, we will build this wall, Dothan, Alabama. And we will cement it with love.